One of the greatest ways you can grow is by learning to see yourself more clearly. But how can you do that? I'll give you 3 ways to help you get started in today's Points to Ponder. Hello, I'm your Christian coach, Jo Heather Dodson. As a whole life coach, I partner with individuals like you to move from the place where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. One tool to help the process is called self-observation. What is that, you might ask? Self-observation is an intentional activity where you find ways to turn your attention to yourself, but without judgment or condemnation. Here's a very personal example. I was walking through my house the other day and I was getting so irritated at how unorganized it was in nearly every room. Everywhere I looked were piles of items that didn't seem to have a home. I started to get upset with my family. My first thought was, why am I the only one who picks things up and puts them away? Then I paused. Was that statement true? Where was all this chaos really coming from? Through the act of self-observation, I took the time to reflect objectively. Well, you could have knocked me over with a feather when I realized the truth. I was the primary culprit of much of the problem. It was hard to acknowledge that. But now that I know, I'm empowered to make choices to bring more order to my home. So how could you experiment with self-observation? Number 1, set aside time to reflect alone. The first step to doing anything is making time for it. If you want to know yourself better, you have to spend time alone. 2 Corinthians 13:5 says, examine yourselves to see whether you are in the faith. How can you set aside time to examine yourself? Number 2, get to know your true self. A tool created in 1955 called the Johari window is a great visual you can hold as you start to explore what you know about yourself and what you aren't yet aware of. I used this tool over 10 years ago and I was shocked at what others knew about me that I didn't know. You might be as surprised as I was. You can find an interactive version of this online and you can pull in input from others who know you well. What might happen if you completed this exercise in the next week? Number 3, write down what you learn. Journaling is a great way to capture your learnings. Are you finding that the chaos in your home is not all the fault of your kids? How can writing this down help get to the point of change? Thanks for joining me today. As we move into our new normal, it's the perfect time to commit to coaching, and I'm the coach to partner with you as you deepen your awareness. Contact me through yourchristiancoach.net to schedule a no-cost inquiry call to find out more. As always, I'll see you next Tuesday as we chat more about Points to Ponder.